Hello, everyone. Today is August 1st, 2025. This live stream is information security. It's about various topics. We are going to review the hack on St. Paul, Minnesota. We're going to speak about some other issues as well and continue just speaking about it for a little bit. So, Minnesota, there was a cyber attack in St. Paul. Securing critical infrastructure. St. Paul declared a state of emergency on July 29th. Forced the city to shut down library networks, Wi-Fi at City Hall, and online payment systems. Work of a sophisticated external actor, and said the city cut off its networks to contain the threat. Wow. In 2021, 5,800 Minnesotans reported losses exceeding $82 million. A 2023 ransomware attack crippled a document management system used by 17 counties and compromised social services. There was a law passed in Minnesota requiring public agencies to report cyber incidents within 24 to 72 hours. So this doesn't say what the actual issue was. Refused to pay a requested ransom. Oh, this was from Abilene, Texas. Had 477 gigabytes of data stolen this spring, and they refused to pay the ransom. And replaced every desktop, laptop, desk telephone, and storage device. Wow. This is straight out of that 2049 movie. This has required a temporary return to pen and paper systems while the entire city network is rebuilt. But at least Abilene was insured against such an attack. Okay, according to remarks by St. Paul Mayor, the attack was first noticed early in the morning of Friday, July 25th. Deliberate coordinated digital attack, intentionally and criminally targeting the city's information infrastructure. They shut down the info systems, Wi-Fi. Yeah, it doesn't explain the extent of which system, though. So this is the city of Abilene. Cyber attack on April 18th, 2025. They were given a deadline until May 27th for a ransom, 477 gigabytes. Did not pay. And they had insurance. No indication the city's info was misused. The hacking group was able to access admin credentials and attempted to uninstall antivirus software. And like we said earlier, they just replaced all their hardware. Valuable data, but they won't bow down. That's good. So we'll continue. Here's an article in Wired. Oh no, unfortunately. Let's just do that. Give me one moment. Oh no. We'll move on to an article by Cybersecurity Drive. DOJ reaches $9.8 million settlement with Illumina over whistleblower claims. They sell genetic sequencing systems with software, and the US is alleging they knowingly sold them with vulnerabilities, software vulnerabilities, to federal agencies between 2016 and 2023 without having an adequate security program, and knowingly failed to incorporate cybersecurity into its product design process. That's huge. That is an absolutely massive thing. I mean, Illumina is one of the biggest companies in San Diego here. And so that's huge. Roughly 80% of the global market share. They're a very specialized company too. What they do is highly technical. Quote, the settlement underscores the importance of cyber security in handling genetic information and the department's commitment to ensuring that federal contractors adhere to requirements to protect sensitive information from cyber threats. Illumina denied the allegations. The FDA issued a warning about a vulnerability in 2023 in Illumina software that could allow an attacker to, quote, change settings on the device or even take it over remotely, unquote. And this is in the cybersecurity drive. In 2022, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency in Illumina's local run manager software allow remotely to alter test results. That was patched. Whistleblower. Whistleblower will receive 1.9 million from the settlement. And Illumina states they disagree, and they settled the matter due to uncertainty, expense, and distraction. Okay. And so I'm now going to the article from 2022. DHS warns cybersecurity vulnerabilities in Illumina software could affect test results. DHS's Department of Homeland Security. Problem with the local run manager. Remotely take control and alter results generated by products including versions of NextSeq and MySeq sequencing instruments. and they advised to immediately download run the patch in 2022. And this is from the FDA. This is MedTech Dive. That's the website presenting this. So I might get a little technical in the coming moments. The module, I believe it's the learning local run manager, is Illumina software for recording samples for a run, specifying run parameters, monitoring status, analyzing sequencing data, and viewing results. In May, likely 2022, they flagged a problem in some of the diagnostic devices, namely, and it lists multiple of their sequencing devices. A consultant discovered the vulnerability and told Illumina, which sent a report to CISA, who shared details with Industrial Control System Cyber Emergency Response Team. And it scored 10 on 10 in the cybersecurity risk scale. Low complexity attack and affect results of the diagnostic systems or diagnostic tests. That could be very malicious. Cyber security, once it comes to hardware, is very malicious, because it's one thing when it's money. Money most times now is digital. When it's just something like digital content, it's at a certain level. But once you get a physical industrial system like what we saw in 2020 or 2021 with the pipeline and various other infrastructure hacks, it really goes to show you how interconnected these items are. Or something like this: Arkansas Board of Corrections hacked during Zoom meeting. And this, I would guess they just had a Zoom URL. I'll read it, but this would be, if I were to, who knows, but they didn't make the Zoom URL private, and that might have been able to solve this. But let's just read. Outside entity hacked into a Zoom stream. Convey an apology. And they don't continue. But from that, I mean, hack is a widespread definition or widespread use of the word, because there's different levels of sophistication to penetrating cyber systems, and there's different levels of sophistication in cyber defense, information security. So for that, I can't imagine, when they say hack and there's no additional information, my mind believes someone got the URL, might have been shared, and someone or over a unsecure wireless connection. Many ways, simple ways that could happen. But that's very interesting with Illumina. Quantum computing cyber threats. So I had a podcast with scientist. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I had a podcast with a scientist who dealt in quantum, and I understood that it was actually the physics, like they really get into the physics of the materials, which is understandable when you think of NVIDIA and I forget. NVIDIA, TSMC, and ASML, which is, I believe, the Dutch company that handles the tooling, the supplier of the photolithography equipment, advanced UV, EUV machines crucial for manufacturing these chips with the small transistors. There's quite a bit of science involved in this. And quantum is the same. And I believe Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, also mentioned, quantum being a new frontier of space. And I'm curious to see how that would affect everything in terms of energy and if it's realistic, if it's kind of like fusion, nuclear fusion, always 15 years away, post quantum cryptography. So it seems like the government and industry are both preparing for quantum chips, I'm not sure, quantum computing. And based off of who is providing it, Google and AWS and NVIDIA, and how today you can, use NVIDIA chips over the cloud through those providers. It'll likely be something like that. It seems like there's these quantum computers in academia, but what I would guess is that the cloud companies will eventually develop cloud computing networks and sell those to academia. I don't know who else outside of academia needs quantum computers. Surely technology companies will find a reason for them. It'll be interesting. Okay, so last cyber live stream I did, we spoke about Aeroflot. Aeroflot had a huge hack, and we're going to review that today. So this was released by Jess Dolly on July 31st, United 24 Media. Pro-Ukraine cyber activist Silent Crow, in coordination with cyber partisans from Belarus, significant attack on Russia's digital infrastructure on July 28th, targeting Aeroflot, crippling its IT systems and sending a direct message to the Kremlin. Quote, end Russia's war in Ukraine, unquote. Oh my goodness. One reason for the breach, this is it, quote, Aeroflot CEO hadn't changed his password for 3 years. You got to change your password. It's difficult. You have to have, okay, so we've talked about this, especially if you're something like that, the CEO of the largest airline in one of the top countries. Oops. Quote from the Silent Crow. For the FSB, NCSCI, RT Solar, and other so-called cyber defenders, you are incapable of protecting even your key infrastructures. For all members of the repressive apparatus, your digital security is negligible, and you yourself have been under surveillance for a long time, unquote. The best defense is a strong offense. Oh, no. The best defense is a strong offense. And a lot of times in the cybersecurity world, especially between Russia and Ukraine, Russia has been on the offense. Destroyed roughly 7,000 physical and virtual servers. Hackers gained access to personal computers at all company levels, including senior management. Recovery could cost tens of millions of dollars. Stole 20 terabytes of data from surveillance servers. With sensitive material. And it forced Russia to reinforce their cyber defenses. Oh, so Silent Crow has claimed several attacks this year. Let me check them out. Yeah, it seems like they hit several. In January, they hit the Russia's real estate registry, Rostr or Rosretster. Again in January, largest digital service provider in Russia, Rostelecom. Leaking customer information. February, accessed internal systems of the Department of IT and obtained info on more than 30 million Russians in the Moscow region. In July, gained access to all hospital records in Moscow, including full medical records, diagnoses, prescriptions, and treatment history, which they say has the potential to leak large-scale medical secrets. That's crazy. They target finance and infrastructure, not healthcare or humanitarian missions. This is the Crows. Quote, everything starts with state services and ends up in digital infrastructure, unquote. Well, that's huge. It seems like the cyber aspect has gotten much larger in the last year. It's difficult because the drone portion of it has been the highlighted part. Lots of drones, lots of modular warfare. All right, let's continue. The Russian government is monitoring foreign embassies in Moscow by installing malware through the control of its local ISPs, internet service providers, active since 2024 by a group called Secret Blizzard. Adversary in the middle technique to deploy the Apollo Shadow malware against foreign embassies in February 2025, collecting intelligence from diplomatic entities. This is from the record.media. That's when an actor positions themselves between networks and facilitates further action. And what they're doing is supposedly lawful within Russia. So the group uses its position to redirect target devices behind captive portals. And it's a legitimate web page. Imagine logging into a hotel or an airport. Oops. And then they're prompted to another page to download the malware. And it masquerades as antivirus software. That's very serious. It poses significant risk to foreign embassies. People should use VPNs. Interesting. Well, I'm done for the day. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully you enjoyed your week and can enjoy your weekend starting.